All right, so I want to bring a video to you today about Tron versus Ethereum. There was a video out recently by Sonny Decree where he basically was talking negatively about Tron, and I just want to give some balance in this space. I'm a Tron investor. You're looking at Binance right now, on the front page of Binance. I just used Binance, by the way, to purchase my first Tron position. I always build into a position. I had this comment. I made this video in part because of this comment here. This is my, by the way, I use TubeBuddy to manage my YouTube account, kind of give me some competitive intelligence and analysis on what my other YouTube friends are doing. I'll put a link if you want to use TubeBuddy. I'll put an affiliate link down below in the comment. You can check it out. It's super awesome. You can actually get a lot of the services for free. But I just come to comments, and then I just drop to comments that I've not replied to yet. That's how I normally do it. I just look at who I need to reply to, and then all comments. Oftentimes, your latest comment will show up here. They're in order. But I got this comment down here from Daniel Ledwith. He said, "Gotta love the trolls." He was commenting on this video, and he said, "Did you decide where you're getting in on Tron yet, and what data you were going to use to make your decisions?" I told him I got in last week on a pullback with my first position. So I want to talk about that a little bit today, and I want to talk about this video from Sonny Decree, which, by the way, Sonny Decree is one of my probably one of my favorite crypto YouTubers. He's definitely in the top 5, top 3. I watch a lot of his videos. He's definitely what I would call it, kind of a mainstream crypto YouTuber, if you would. But sometimes I just disagree with him, and that's okay. It's good to disagree in the crypto space. And I'm going to kind of I'm going to discuss the articles that he discussed in this, or the 2 items that he discussed in this video, and I'm going to give kind of my counterbalance against it. Now, Tron versus Ethereum. I know there's some, Tron fanboys who think that Tron's going to somehow knock Ethereum out. I think it could happen, but today, the way it stands, it's a very long shot. But the reason that I'm buying into Tron is because I think that they're positioned unique, and I think what they're doing a couple of things right. Primarily, it's their marketing and it's their promotions that they're doing really, really good. And I have a sneaky suspicion, although I could be wrong, I got a sneaky suspicion that Justin Sun is taking the Jeff Bezos approach to the market. What Jeff Bezos did to e-commerce, I think Justin Sun is doing to cryptocurrency. That's just a guess. I could be wrong on that, but it's just a guess. And I do think Tron, in my opinion, don't take anything I say as financial advice. Keep in mind, consider my channel total satire. I reserve the right to be 100% wrong about 100% of everything, 100% of the time. But I do believe that Tron is going to be a good medium to short-term investment. I do think it's probably going to go up. So I'm buying in. And the way that I buy in, just so you know, anytime there's a pullback against Bitcoin by about 4 to 6% or more, I typically buy in. That's what I'm looking to do. So I've been waiting patiently for a good spot to buy in. There was a pullback. I like to buy in on red days against Bitcoin. I took advantage of that, and good news is it bounced up the next day, as you always hope that your investments do that when you purchase in. So I want to first talk about what he says. Well, let's quickly take a look at Tron right now. Tron is number 9. It's above Bitcoin SV, where I think it rightfully belongs. Should it be above Litecoin? I don't know. I think Litecoin should be a little higher personally. But I do think Tron's going to go higher, primarily because there's a founder behind it, promoting it, pushing it like there's no tomorrow, and I think that's his genius. But let's go ahead and talk about what Sonny shared here. So he was talking about this tweet right here, why Tron is better. So let's just see what Sonny, Justin Sun said, why Tron is better than Ethereum. It has 10,000 transactions per second versus 25 transactions per second, 0 fees versus high fees, consistent coin burn versus no coin burn, Java versus Solidity 5, strong extensibility versus no extensibility, 6.1 billion USD developers rewards versus no plan, 100 million users versus small number. Look, you don't have to like it. He's clearly picking a fight with Ethereum, and quite honestly, personally, I think Ethereum's the longer term better play personally. But you've got to love a CEO like this. And that's why I'm building a position in Tron. He's not wrong in what he's saying, but let's listen to what Sonny had to say.
Of course, they have nice marketing, but if your white paper is a copy or almost a full copy of Ethereum, well, you can just not tweet stuff like this. Why Tron is better than Ethereum? First, 10,000 transactions per second versus 25 transactions per second.
Okay, we just said that. So he said you can't tweet this because the white paper is supposedly a copy of the Ethereum white paper. But why can't he tweet it? If they were operating, if they were using, obviously they have similar blockchains. Clearly they have similar blockchains. If you know anything about Tron, it's very similar. That they absolutely, if you want to say ripped off Ethereum, fine, say they ripped off Ethereum. But their form of, I guess you say consensus, I'm probably not saying the right word. Sorry, I had an interruption there. What was I talking about? Tron's governance system. So they have with their 27 super representatives or their delegated proof of stake, that is totally different than the way Ethereum is managed or the governance of Ethereum. That is exactly why it's faster. Now, you can say you don't like the delegated proof of stake or you do like it, and there's pros and cons to that method. But that's why he can say all of these things about it. That's why it's totally true. So to say that he can't say it because he somehow plagiarized the white paper, if they did indeed plagiarize the original white paper, and it does appear that way, by the way, if he did do that, he's clearly operating today a little bit differently. And so that, I mean, Ethereum is not delegated proof of stake. So, and that's everything from the scalability to why it's faster. It's because of the delegated proof of stake. But then Sonny Decree didn't stop there. He went on to this article here. Ex-BitTorrent executive says there's no way Tron will manage BitTorrent's token. The moment I saw this, I saw ex-executive. And I thought, okay, sure, of course the ex-executive may say something negative, but let's listen to what he has to say. And I mean, this could be totally true, by the way. This could all be 100% correct. I still don't think it changes the fact that in the short to medium term, within the next several months to a couple of years or more, I definitely think Tron could be a much stronger power player in the top 10 cryptocurrencies than it is right now. According to Simon Morris, former chief strategy officer at BitTorrent, Tron will not be able to manage the transaction volume needed to tokenize BitTorrent. Blockchain news website Breaker Mag published its interview with Morris on January 11th. According to the interview, Morris noted that when he worked at BitTorrent, he and his team discovered that bringing a token and automated auctions to prioritize download queues could increase the speed of the network by up to 40%. Nevertheless, Morris repeatedly stated that there's no way the Tron blockchain can handle the transaction volume that such a system would require. According to him, his team needed hundreds of transactions per second just to get started, he added. You hear all the bullshit out there, this does 10,000 transactions a second. It's all crap. We were going to melt Tron, literally destroy it. Further, Breaker Mag reports that according to Morris, there is little reason to believe that other claims about BitTorrent's Tron-based token, BTT, as Morris allegedly described Tron. It's basically a marketing machine layered on a very thin veneer of technology. Explaining his point of view, he reportedly... Wait, let me back up a minute. I wanted to make sure I address this. This is just like an accusation. There's no proof of this. He didn't substantiate this in any way at all. This is just his opinion, and it very well could just be a disgruntled employee, or he could be telling the truth, but this isn't substantiated at all. It's basically a marketing machine layered on a very thin veneer of technology. I will agree that it's as much a marketing machine as it is technology, but you got to be very careful calling it a very thin veneer of technology. I mean, in a lot of ways, Tron's already established, it's definitely established itself more than most cryptocurrencies. I mean, it's clearly got users and it's got volume, it's got ridiculously fast transaction speeds. So, I mean, I would probably take issue with very thin. But let's keep going. Explaining a point of view, he's reportedly told the news outlet that Justin Sun is very strong at marketing, but he doesn't have a technical bone in his body. Furthermore, he added, by the way, who cares? Like, the CEO of a car company doesn't have to be the best mechanic. In fact, it doesn't matter if he's not a mechanic. I've actually been waiting for a cryptocurrency to come out and to be managed a bit like Tron is getting managed. Now, I don't know what Tron's future is. It depends on what they do with Tron long term. But I've been waiting for something like this for a while, where it was not just run, quote unquote, by the scientific developer guys. I mean, the science and the technology behind the blockchain and the project needs to be solid. Don't get me wrong. But it needs to be run, if in cases like this, it needs to be, the project needs to have a leader if they're going to have a leader. It's either going to be totally decentralized, like Bitcoin, where there's a kind of a group consensus model, or it needs to have some sort of a leader leading the project in the way that Justin Sun is leading it. In my personal opinion, I think it's needed. I prefer total decentralization. Let me just say that. I prefer total decentralization. But when you see like the Vitalik, like Vitalik is not a CEO type. He's not a leader type. He's a flippin' genius, but I don't see him as like really leading the project, in my personal opinion. And I think maybe the reason he doesn't lead it is because it's, so decentralized, which again, I'm always a fan of decentralization. Don't get me wrong. I'm always a fan of decentralization, but I don't have a problem that Justin Sun is acting as a CEO of Tron, yet he doesn't have a technical bone in his body. I think that's irrelevant. But the approach that bothered me was the very sort of Trumpian approach. If you get caught in a lie, the answer is you double down on the lie. It was the endless doubling down on lies that made me think it wasn't going to be a fit. Again, possible, but a bit unsubstantiated. Morris left BitTorrent in July last year, reportedly after concluding that he would not be able to develop any trust in relationships with Tron executives. Breaker Mag reports that when Morris confronted Sun about Tron's allegedly plagiarized code and the white paper, Sun replied, "We have come to consensus that this did not happen, and we have moved on." Again, it's probably taken a little bit out of context. Morris reportedly suspects that Tron will manage BitTorrent transactions on a central server, and he says pretend it is Tron based. Well, if this occurs, that's horrible. It could occur, but if it does, that's horrible. And it's something to be aware of and to, try to look out for. According to Breaker Mag, Morris expects the efficiency of BitTorrent will increase as predicted. But he doesn't expect the system will be Tron based. Still, he reportedly noted this centralization could make the system less reliable. A Tron spokesperson told Cointelegraph in private comments today that Morris appears to have little insight into BitTorrent's operational plans since his departure, adding, actions and executives will prove louder than the words of a disgruntled, actions and execution will prove louder than the words of a disgruntled former employee. This is interesting. Let's see what happens. As Cointelegraph recently reported, BitTorrent has launched a native token, BitTorrent BTT, based on the Tron protocol. News recently broke that Tron has hired a former United States Securities and Exchange Commission supervisory attorney as its first chief compliance officer. Well, that's good news in a world of that's going to be highly regulated. And I think a lot of the dApps on Tron, if I'm going to say, there are things that you can claim are negative about Tron, and one being all the dApps that are gambling based. I think long term that might not be positive, but in the short term, it proves his point that the blockchain can definitely manage the volume. I mean, it can totally manage the volume. So I think this is mostly FUD. I mean, listen, don't ever look at something and just immediately discount it. There may be some truth to this, but I don't even know if it matters that there's truth to it. Like, I just don't know if that matters, that there's truth to this this article or not long term. I think Justin Sun is going to push Tron and push Tron and push Tron. I think he's going to lead the way. I think their super representative model is interesting. It might have some problems, but I think it's interesting. The bottom line is, at this very current moment, the way that it works, it's a better mousetrap than other blockchains that are out there right now, for now. Will that remain to be seen? Who knows? I just purchased it. I'm using Binance, which I got to tell you something. Where did I put that at? Binance is super simple. I'll put a link down below. If you want to check out Binance, just go to register, email, password, confirm password. You don't need a referral ID. If you click on my referral link down below, you'll have a referral ID in here. Click I agree, click register. Super, super easy to set up. I could do a video on Binance, and if you want me to do a video on Binance, leave it down in the comments. But Binance is doing, I mean, they may become a major player, they may become the main exchange in the world, in my opinion, potentially. Also, if you, I use, just as a reminder, I use TubeBuddy to manage my comments and to manage my YouTube channel, to help with keywords and tags. And it helps me also set up my very simple thumbnails. Everything, I use TubeBuddy. So if you want to use TubeBuddy, I'll put an affiliate link down below. You can check that out as well. And I just want to wrap up with this. The cryptocurrency market, the cryptocurrency landscape in general, is a bit of a wild, wild west. And it's going to be fascinating to see what happens. And just keep in mind that we are here on literally like the cutting edge of the marketplace. Like nobody is experiencing what we're experiencing right now in anywhere else in economics or in science, in my personal opinion. This blockchain technology, whether it's Tron, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Bitcoin, this technology is going to change the world, no question. And if you believe that, subscribe to my channel, hit that thumbs up, leave me a comment below, hit that bell notification icon, and congratulations, because you've now joined the crypto revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a fun ride. Have a great day.